At JMJ, there is a certain kind of afternoon we think about more than almost any famous site we could ever send you to. Picture it. You are on a small balcony, somewhere warm, with a cup of coffee that went cold an hour ago. There is a cat on the wall opposite. A woman is hanging washing on a line, and the sheets keep lifting in the wind and then falling back, lifting and falling. Somewhere below, two men are arguing happily about something you cannot understand. And you do nothing. You have no plans for that hour. You have nowhere you need to be. You simply sit and watch the light move across the wall and let the afternoon empty itself out. Years from now, you will not be able to name a single monument you saw on that trip. But you will still feel that balcony. You will feel the warmth of the stone and the particular silence of a place going about its day without any need for you. And we have come to believe this is no accident. The hours we remember are almost never the ones we planned. They are the ones we left open. Welcome to the empty afternoon. At JMJ Experiences, we plan journeys for a living, and over the years we have noticed something strange about the way we all travel. The first thing we sacrifice when we are putting a trip together is the empty time, the doing nothing, the margin. We treat it as waste, as the part of the holiday we have not yet figured out how to use. And we have come to believe it is the opposite. We think the margin is the trip. The rest is just the frame around it. So this is a show about the art of traveling well. And in this first conversation, we want to make the case for slowness, for fewer places, longer stays, and the radical idea of leaving some of your afternoons completely empty on purpose. Let us start with the thing that goes wrong. Here is what happens to most of us. We save for a trip, we wait for it, we want it to be worth everything we have put into it. And so, very reasonably, we try to get our money's worth. We look at the map, and we see 8 cities, and we think, well, while we are all the way over there, we may as well. We add a day here, a side trip there. We build an itinerary that looks, on paper, magnificent. 4 countries in 12 days. A breakfast in one place, a sunset in another. And then we go, and we live it, and we come home, and we are exhausted in a way that no amount of sitting on an aeroplane should make a person. You know the feeling. You arrive back, and you need a holiday to recover from your holiday. You scroll through the photographs, and they are beautiful. And they are also slightly unreal, because you were moving so fast that you never quite arrived anywhere. You saw the cathedral, but you saw it the way you see a slide in a presentation. There it is, next. You were collecting. You were ticking things off a list someone else wrote, the list of things you are supposed to see. And at no point did the list ask you whether you actually wanted to be there, in that square, at that moment, or whether you would rather have stayed in bed, reading, and let the city wait. And there is a quieter cost underneath all of that. When every day is packed, you stop making decisions. The schedule decides for you. You wake, you are told where to be. You go, you are tired, you sleep, and you do it again. And somewhere in the middle of it, the trip stops belonging to you. You become a passenger on your own holiday. The whole point of going somewhere, the freedom of it, the sense that for a little while your time is your own, quietly evaporates, and you do not even notice it go, because you were too busy keeping up. That is the trap. We have turned travel into a kind of productivity. We measure it the way we measure a working day, by how much we got through. And the cruel thing is that the cramming does not give us more of the place. It gives us less. Every extra stop is paid for with the attention you would have spent on the one before. You think you are being generous to the trip, squeezing every drop out of it, and in fact you are robbing it. You're taking the thing that makes a place worth visiting, the chance to actually be in it, and trading it for a longer list. A maximised itinerary is a beautifully organised way of not really going anywhere. So let us be clear about what slow travel actually is, because the phrase gets used a great deal, and it does not always mean very much. Slow travel is not about doing things at a leisurely pace while still doing all of them. It is about choosing fewer things. It is depth instead of breadth. It is the difference between seeing a place and being somewhere. Seeing a place is what you do from a coach window, or on a half-day tour, or in the 90 minutes you allotted to a town before the next town. You see it. You confirm that it exists, that it looks the way it does in the pictures. Being somewhere is different. Being somewhere takes repetition. It takes the same cafe twice. And this, we think, is the secret hiding in plain sight. The first time you walk into a cafe in a strange town, you are a tourist. You are working out the menu, the etiquette, where to sit, how to pay. You are managing. The second time you walk in, something has changed. The man behind the counter half recognizes you. You know to take the table by the window. You order the thing you liked yesterday. And in that small act of return, you stop being a visitor and you start, just barely, to belong. You have a habit in a place that is not yours. That is the beginning of intimacy with somewhere, and you cannot get there if you are never anywhere twice. This is why we are such believers in building a trip around a single base. Pick a place, a town, a stretch of coast, a quiet quarter of a city, and stay. Let it become, for a week, the place you live. Go to the same market. Walk the same street at the same hour, and watch how it changes. Find the bench you like. Depth is not something you go and find. It is something that accumulates quietly while you are not trying. And it will not accumulate if you are checking out of a hotel every second morning. So now, let us get practical, because a philosophy that you cannot actually use is just a nice feeling. Here is how we design a slow trip, and how you can too. The first principle is anchoring. 1 or 2 bases, not 6. When someone comes to us with a 3-week trip and a list of 9 places, our first job, gently, is to take things away. We are not trying to fill the map. We are trying to find the 1 or 2 anchors where you will set down your bags and stay long enough to stop unpacking them mentally. Everything else, the day trips, the excursions, radiates out from those anchors and returns to them at night. You sleep in the same bed. You come home to somewhere. A trip with a home in it feels completely different from a trip that is all corridor. The second principle is the empty afternoon, and we mean it literally. When we build an itinerary, we put empty afternoons into it on purpose. Not as a gap we failed to fill, but as a thing with a name and a place in the plan. Most days have one good idea in them. 1, a morning at the market, or a long lunch, or a walk to the lighthouse. And then the afternoon is yours, and it is unplanned, and that is not a flaw in the schedule. That is the schedule working. because nothing interesting has ever happened on a fully booked day. The best things, the conversation with the fisherman, the festival you stumble into, the second cup of coffee that turns into 3 hours. These things need a vacancy to walk into. If every hour is spoken for, serendipity knocks and finds nobody home. The third principle is rituals, small ones. A morning swim before anyone else is up. The same pastry, the same bench, the same 5 minutes watching the boats come in. Travelers tend to think the magic is in the new and the rare, and sometimes it is. But just as often, the magic is in the small, repeated thing that becomes yours for a week. A ritual is how you put down roots in a place you are only renting. It is the cheapest luxury there is, and it is the one you will miss most when you get home. And the fourth principle ties them all together. We call it the one thing a day rule. One real plan a day. Not one thing total. You will of course eat, wander, talk, swim, read. But one thing that is on the schedule, that you have decided matters, and around which the rest of the day is allowed to be loose. One thing a day sounds like very little. People resist it. It feels like underusing the trip. And then they try it. And they come home and tell us it was the most full their days have ever felt. Because a day with one anchor and a great deal of open water around it is a day you can actually live inside, rather than march through. That is the whole architecture, really. Anchor yourself. Leave the afternoons open. Build a ritual or two. Do one good thing a day, and let the rest breathe. Margin is not the absence of a plan. Margin is the plan. It is the room you build into a trip so that the trip has somewhere to surprise you. So if you take one thing away from this, or rather 5 quiet things, let them be these. First, fewer places, more days. Halve your list and double your stays, and watch what happens. Second, protect the empty afternoon as fiercely as you protect the famous sights. It is not the leftover time, it is the point. Third, go to the same cafe twice. Repetition is how you stop seeing a place and start being somewhere. Fourth, one real thing a day. Let everything else be loose, and let yourself be a little bored, because boredom on a trip is just serendipity that has not arrived yet. And fifth, the one underneath all the others. The best parts of a journey cannot be scheduled. You can only make room for them. So make room. This way of traveling, fewer places, explored more deeply, with the afternoons left open, is the whole reason we built JMJ Experiences. We design journeys around exactly this idea, that the unstructured hour is the real luxury, not the thing you cut to make space for one more sight. If any of it speaks to you, the writing on our journal goes deeper into all of it, and you can find it at jmjexperiences.com/journal. Over this season, we want to take you into the places we know best and tell you the truth about them. What honeymoons are actually like once the wedding is over, and what a safari morning really feels like, and the side of Sri Lanka the brochures never quite get to, and why a wellness retreat works or doesn't, and the slow pleasures of Vietnam, and the strange quiet of the Maldives, and the surprising soul of Dubai, and how to travel with 3 generations without losing your mind. And all the way through, the small things nobody tells you, the ones that make the difference between a trip you took and a trip you can still feel years later, the way you will still feel that balcony. Wherever you are going next, we hope you leave an afternoon empty. We hope you let it stay that way. And we hope, years from now, it is the hour you remember best. We're glad you're here. We'll see you on the next one.